Welcome to this latest video of Spot, which is short for Simple PPM Orchestration Tool. Spot is our popular PPM add-on for any form of PPM integration. It provides quick, standardized, and robust integrations in just minutes. Previous videos available on our website, PPMetrics.com, demonstrate integrations with financial extracts, SAP, Oracle, Jira, ServiceNow, Rally, Microsoft Dynamics 365, and Smartsheets. Today's video, however, will focus more on just one element of Spot, and that element makes it such a generic and powerful integration platform, which is the setup process. But first, let's have a quick reminder of what Spot's all about. The solution was announced in 2020 and has been deployed worldwide. It is a one-stop shop for any type of PPM integration, regardless of the third-party data source, data direction, or use case. It eliminates the complexity associated with PPM integrations while delivering robust, flexible, and standardized solutions. It can be used for both data exchanged, and if necessary, a UI is provided for cleaning up the data in a staging area. This slide depicts Spot's object model, which is applicable to all integrations. Spot comes with a large list of connectors, which are basically drivers for specific types of data sources and applications, for example, Jira, SAP, or Workday. So in my diagram here, I have a connector, for example, for Jira. Then we have something called templates. For each connector, any number of integration templates can be configured, each corresponding to at least one integration use case. So for example, for my Jira connector, I have a template for exporting PPM project information into Jira. Then I have a second use case or template for importing Jira effort into PPM timesheets. Then once a template is set up, any number of loads can be executed using it, and each template can run independently. Today's demo is going to focus on the template configuration part, which just like everything else in Spot works the same way from the simplest data load to the most complex integration. They're usually very quick to configure and rarely change afterwards. The first step in configuring a template is to define your source and target data sources. PPM is always going to be designated as either the source or target. It also supports vendor and custom applications, as we just mentioned, text files, and databases. The second part is to actually define object and field mappings. So what's unique is Spot dynamically interrogates the source and target systems and allows users to establish mappings. It also supports data transformations. And lastly and optionally, you can define advanced configurations. You can also record pre-screening criteria, which are conditions for excluding certain records from all the loads. So for example, the IDs aren't found in PPM. You can also support pre and post load operations, which are special procedures that need to be executed before or after the load. You can also create custom log structures and custom error codes. To demonstrate the different features of Spot templates, we're going to demonstrate a load of cost actuals using a pre-configured template. Most commonly, the Spot data sources are large systems or databases. However, for demo purpose today, I'm going to go ahead and show a load from a small text file. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that source file. So this is some cost data for two projects. They contain actuals from January through April. You can see we actually introduced two sets of invalid data. We have a bad request ID, and we have a bad period that does not exist for any of these project periods. And we'll also go ahead and introduce a new cost category called AI agent in PPM, which is going to be added as part of our Spot integration. Let's go ahead and take a look at the state of the data before we run this integration. So go into PPM first. Take a look at the validation. Then we're going to go ahead and add that new label category, AI agent. So AI agent does not exist. We're actually going to create that as part of our integration when we run Spot. Now let's take a look at the financial summaries. So I just switched over to Spot. So this is the UI for Spot, which resembles an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with the admin credentials that are pre-filled. Jump over to the financial summary tab. We'll type in the IDs that we want to look at. Enter IDs, click on the magnifying glass icon. We'll select the financial summaries, hit go. And all the information from the financial summary line is going to be downloaded into the spreadsheet. So for our two projects, all the individual cost lines, as we scroll down, you can see there are no actuals. We're going to go ahead and populate these actuals through our configuration template and spot. Okay, let's jump over to the spot tab. Click the magnifying glass icon. Now I need to select the correct load template. So we have templates for Dynamics 365, Jira, other applications, but we're going to use this project cost load simplified template. Click the green checkbox. The very first step is to actually select our data source and target. That's the very step of our template. I'm going to go ahead and import into PPM. Our source is going to be a file extract. I'm going to select the file I just showed you. And our target system is going to be PPM. We're actually going to use the entity type of financial summary of projects, and the metric we're going to be loading or updating is cost. And here we have the advanced configurations. Here are pre-screening conditions. We're going to exclude inactive projects, non-existent IDs. We have preload operations, and this is where we're going to go ahead and add our AI agents, add missing cost categories. We also have log fields. These are custom logs that we're going to make sure we include. Everything looks good. Proceed. This is our field mappings. So different financial summary fields are going to be mapped to the different fields from our data source, that Excel or text file. Then we have our transformations that we can perform. So we could do things like filter, set defaults, and aggregate. So for example, we have the amount. We're going to go ahead and transform that, actually take the amount times it by 1,000. And for the individual lines that are the same, we'll go ahead and sum them up. Everything looks good. Click on the check mark. Okay, so the wizard completed, and then Spot actually excluded 2 bad records and processed 8 records, and those 2 records were the ones I pointed out that were in red from the original data source file. That was the bad ID and the bad period. So total of 10 records were processed, and again, 2 were omitted. Click OK. Now what exactly do we do with this data? We can choose our load operations. We have the choice of merge only, which is to essentially make sure that there's existing lines to merge those changes in, or merge and create. If there are new lines, we can actually create new lines as well. Okay, so Spot went ahead and downloaded the data. We actually see the deltas or changes in orange, right? So 200,000, 6,600. These are the amounts that are essentially using our template. We times it by 1,000 and aggregated it, and these are the actual final figures for these individual lines. So scrolling all the way to the bottom. So all the way at the very bottom, we have an entirely new line that is highlighted in orange with the new cost category of AI agent. So this is part of our preload, and this category is going to be added to PPM as part of the templates configuration. So everything looks good. Now let's click on Save to actually load this data into PPM. So on the lower left, you can kind of see the progress. It was actually very quickly. Actually went very quickly. And 2 entities were successfully processed. Let's go back to the Financial Summary tab. I got a message indicating one or more of the financial summaries have been updated since you retrieved them into the XLI. Hit the refresh button to pull the latest data. So obviously we change the data through the Spot tab or the Spot integration. So I'm going to click on refresh to pull the latest data. Now if I scroll, I now see I have actual figures where previously I did not. And you also see we have a new category for AI agent that was created as well. Let's go back to the Spot tab and look at the logs. So we'll click this button here, click on completed loads. So this was our load that we just ran. We'll click on Generate API Calls log. Click on the button. And so I went ahead and created two log files, one in the form of an Excel file and one in the form of a text file. So let's look at the contents of those files. So these are actual API calls. This is the text file. Now if we take a look at the Excel-based log file, you can see line by line as each item was being processed. Then we could take a look at the validation flag. You can see here, this was set to no. This corresponds to the invalid ID that was in the original data source file. So we have two custom error codes for the two bad records as indicated by the validation flag. Now let's switch gears a little bit and talk about spot loads. Spot loads can also be initiated from the server. So we've been doing everything through the Spot UI, but now we can also talk about how Spot can be launched in a fully automated mode. And to do that, we define what's called Spot jobs. Go ahead and switch over to PPM. One common way of triggering those jobs is through a PPM report type, which is included in the Spot product. So with Spot, you get a SPT-run job report type. And one advantage of using PPM reports is that they can be scheduled to run automatically. So you have scheduling options right below. Let me show you a quick example of loading Jira epics into PPM projects. In this case, Spot communicates with Jira directly using the APIs. But before I go ahead and do that, let's take a look at the project screen. We'll search for any projects that contain machine. So there are no projects. Now I'm going to actually load Jira epics into PPM projects, and those projects can have actually called machine in them. So I'm going to go ahead and run the Spot job, Jira epics into PPM projects. Okay, great. So the Spot job completed. So for Jira epics into PPM projects, we should have created two PPM projects with the word machine in them. So now when I search for projects, modify the search, and look for the project name contains machine, we now have two projects, machine learning, core algorithm optimization, and machine learning of service desk data. So let's summarize what we've seen today. We went ahead and loaded from a text file while demonstrating various features of Spot templates. We also did a server-side data load from Jira. Okay, let's conclude. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you appreciate the simplicity and convenience which Spot introduces to this complicated topic of PPM integrations. It's because of these capabilities, its ease of use, and applicability to all PPM integrations, that's why we call it a one-stop shop. If you have any integration needs, including custom systems, or want to optimize and standardize your existing integrations, Spot is the way to go. Do not launch weeks or months long custom development work if you can go ahead and set up powerful integrations very quickly with Spot. Whether you're an existing customer or not, working for a small or large organization, please feel free to contact us at info@ppmetrics.com or visit us at our website, ppmetrics.com, to learn more. Thank you.